Isn't it kind of crazy looking at this list of the top banks in the US and then realizing that majority of these big banks are already here in crypto talking about how they want to tokenize and offer crypto-based services to their clients? Isn't that insane? In this video, I want to talk about how everything just flipped. Everything just shifted completely. And it's because of one of these big banks on this list pushing one of the biggest updates that we have seen around the banking sector in regards to crypto. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's dive on into this real quick. So number one, let's start off with the big update that we got back towards the end of January, right? Like we all remember this. SAB 121 got repealed completely, which did prevent banks from custodian digital assets, crypto. Now, from this post, we got a big update from Bank of America's CEO saying that the financial industry is ready to adopt crypto payments if regulators give the green light, which they basically got. But Bank of America is number 2 on the list. Now, we know that JP Morgan has been utilizing crypto, specifically the private Ethereum chain for Onyx. But Bank of America has been utilizing Ripple. They have a partnership with Ripple. They want to utilize XRP and the XRPL. But then we also got this update in the beginning of February, which was Coinbase is making a bold move, demanding US regulators tear down banking barriers to crypto. Will the feds finally listen? The exchange sent a formal request to the OCC, Fed, and the FDIC, pushing for clear enforceable rules that allow banks to offer crypto custody and execution services. Right now, outdated policies are blocking legally compliant crypto firms from partnering with banks. Coinbase says it's time to fix this. Their argument: standardized regulations will fuel financial innovation, boost stability, and drive mass adoption. A legal review backs them up, showing current restrictions lack statutory grounds. If the rules change, it could open the floodgates for banks to integrate crypto like never before. Now, over here, same day, is crypto banking finally getting a green light because the FDIC dropped 175 documents on its oversight of crypto-friendly banks. Acting Chair Travis Hill says it's about transparency, but critics say it's long overdue. For years, banks feared the FDIC was blocking blockchain innovation because they war with Operation Choke Point 2.0. But Hill admits that past policies discourage crypto, but he's pushing for a new era, one that could open doors for financial institutions to explore digital assets. Meanwhile, Tim Scott isn't holding back, calling out regulation or regulators for political bias and linking it to Operation Choke Point 2.0. He says access to financial services is a right, not a privilege. With Congress and regulators now focused on crypto banking, big policy shifts are coming. Will we finally see a clear path for banks to embrace blockchain? Now, fast forward a little bit, we got this video. And this video clip is from Bloomberg, and this is with Adena Friedman, who's NASDAQ's chair and CEO. Wall Street's biggest banks, once wary of crypto, are now planning to attract and serve crypto businesses as US regulations shift. They expect Trump's pro-crypto stance to spark a wave of IPOs, stock sales, and convertible bonds, creating new profit opportunities. Mind you, this is happening after SAB 121 got repealed. The big bank CEOs were already talking about how they're ready to adopt crypto payments if regulators give the green light, and we are seeing many players from the space urging regulators to accelerate this push. Then we get NASDAQ's chair and CEO talking about this on mainstream media. This is crazy.
Another thing you've been talking about a lot this year is regulation and the power for changes in regulation to really bring more companies to market, among other things, save costs. How do you feel about the prospect for change this year? If the Trump administration, the new SEC, maybe even the new CFTC, if they could do one thing, one thing that would really move the needle, what would that be?
I don't have one thing on my agenda. I have several. So it's important for us to focus both on unlocking the potential of the financial industry in terms of making regulations smarter. Regulation is very important in the financial industry, but there are a lot of probably outdated regulations that could be reevaluated. There's a lot of regulation where maybe they had their original intent was to drive safety and security for investors, but the way they measure it is solely on inputs as opposed to outcomes. So how do we get more outcome-oriented regulation that allows technology to be brought in to help solve these problems as opposed to having to do it only with just adding time and adding people to the processes. So there's a lot of opportunity to make the financial industry more efficient. If they could take 10 to 20% out of just risk and compliance programs, that's unlocking $25 to $50 billion of capital that could be deployed into the economy. So that's one. And then, of course, making the public company existence, I would say making that more efficient and effective as well.
Another area, too, I have to ask you, because a lot of people are looking at you and saying, okay, what does NASDAQ do in the world of digital assets? And this is something where I know you've spent a lot of time. With the rules changing around digital assets, does it change your thinking on how much you may want to embrace them?
Well, we are a technology provider to the cryptocurrency industry by providing trading, clearing, surveillance technology, now risk management technology to banks who hold digital wallets. We also have a financial crime capabilities to support both digital and fiat wallets. So as a technology provider, we're very engaged. As a market, we have the most successful crypto ETFs on NASDAQ, and we're very proud to support that ecosystem. As a market operator, we're going to have to look at how the regulatory environment shapes up, because it's really going to be there. I think the SEC and the CFTC will be introducing rules of the road, with gearing towards investor protection. And if that's the case, and we have very clear rules of the road, and we see an opportunity for us to be successful and to engage our clients in new ways, we will certainly consider that. But we already have a heavy engagement in the industry today.
So, yeah, at this point in time, this is now one of the biggest spotlighted topics. How big of an opportunity we have in front of us to now adopt crypto blockchain-based services to make the financial industry more efficient. Isn't it kind of crazy that Ripple, going all the way back to like 2016, they had major banks launch Global Payment Steering Group with Ripple for this exact thing? I mean, it's kind of crazy that like Ripple was at the forefront of this for years now, over almost a decade. And now banks are getting the green light. So what company and what digital asset do you think is going to benefit the most from this? I mean, it's so obvious at this point that it's so painful to see all these people talking down on XRP and Ripple because they don't understand it. They don't get it. They didn't do their research. And by the way, big banks are already starting to invest millions of dollars into the ETFs as well. Canadian and UK banks this time. But also, Citi. Let's go back to the list. The third largest player here, total assets 1.73 trillion. Citi, the third biggest US bank by assets, is considering expanding into cryptocurrency custody management. Remember that Citi is also a partner of Medico, which did become Ripple Payments. So is Citi still utilizing Ripple custody? We don't know. But this is very interesting. Remember, it all starts with custody, right? From custody, they can move into tokenization use cases. They can look into DeFi use cases. They could basically do anything. So let's go back to the list. JP Morgan has been in crypto for a while. Bank of America is confirmed to be in crypto. Citi is now confirmed to be in crypto. Goldman Sachs is in crypto. PNC does have a partnership with Ripple for a very long time now. If we go back to the list, right, we could see a few of the players on this list as well could be added. I mean, they're not on the top 15 list, but they could definitely be added to this list. But some of these other players, Truist recently did announce plans to adopt crypto or move into crypto. Bank of New York Mellon, aka BNY Mellon, they are already in crypto in a big way. State Street is already tokenizing in a big way. Morgan Stanley wants to move E-Trade into, the crypto scene and offer crypto-based services. So, almost all of these big banks, they're looking into crypto or looking to offer some sort of crypto service. And what does that tell you? The big banks are flooding in. This is going to lead to mass adoption. This is the beginning stages. And by the way, big shout out to Yueki Yang. I hope that I'm saying that name correctly. She actually wrote an incredible article regarding all of these big banks to watch. BNY, State Street, Citi, Goldman. These big banks now have all of these plans in place for crypto custody, trading, and even beyond. But she did make an additional post under that, where we have Coinbase is in talks with banks to offer custody and trading services as a partner. But many banks will still need further regulatory approval, such as, from the Fed and the New York Department of Financial Services. But yeah, listen, these big players are already ready. I mean, if we look at what she wrote here, which we know that this is fact checked. We looked at this. We've talked about this for a while now. If we look at these names, State Street, one of the world's biggest custody banks for stocks and bonds, is planning to launch digital asset custody next year. A bank executive said. BNY, State Street's top rival, already has a small custody business for Bitcoin and Ether, but plans to expand it to more kinds of tokens. Citi, the third biggest U.S. bank by assets, has also been exploring adding crypto custody services by building them itself and partnering with external firms, people familiar with the bank said. Also, don't forget that Goldman Sachs is launching tokenization initiatives as well. Guys, we are witnessing some very significant moves being made here. And it all really did start with SAB 121, this new pro crypto admin, all of the organizations tied to this as well, like, for an example, the SEC, the CFTC, like they're already, sitting here telling you that they're ready, like they're pro crypto. Also, the Fed said that there's nothing holding these big banks back. So the floodgates are now officially open for these big banks to launch these services, offer these services, and this is going to change everything. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.